a week of matches, plenty of goals to get through, plenty of talking points. I'm Paco. Let's hit it. We got a great watch along for Barcelona versus PSG. What a matchup that has been in the past. Of course, providing us with a lot of memories to look back on. Unless you're a Real Madrid or PSG fan, probably all great memories of that remontada in which Neymar pushed Barcelona past PSG. But Neymar is on the other side now, and he was out for yet another Champions League knockout match for PSG, unfortunately. Bit of a nasty habit, or a nasty bit of luck for him, I should say. Barcelona's domestic form has been good, and that transferred well into the early exchanges against PSG. Messi, Griezmann, Dembele, all combining well. They looked dangerous. And a freak accident from Kurzawa, which he knew nothing about, gave Barcelona an opportunity to put themselves 1-0 ahead from the penalty spot, to which Messi duly obliged and hit it perfectly. I do feel for Kurzawa, as that was a strange, unfortunate penalty to give away. The only angle that showed that there was any contact was the one from behind, but it was definitely one of those weird penalties where the slightest touch causes a player to trip over himself. An unfortunate one, but in the VAR age, it's going to be called every time. What did we call that in the old days? A dive. Haha, even if it wasn't actually a dive. But anyways, after going 1-0 up, a future icon of the sport took over for PSG. Kylian Mbappé put in a masterclass when it came to finishing, as he ended up with a hat-trick on the night, with 3 well-taken goals from the 22-year-old at the Camp Nou. Man, he's 22 years. It's crazy. Time flies, doesn't it? Another player who was integral to PSG's performance was, of course, Marco Verratti, who was great at breaking up the play, clean in possession, and of course his passing is always a joy to watch. The way PSG worked that first goal, the equalizer, I guess. Diagonal ball to the left flank for Kurzawa, who hits it first time into the box. Verratti with that sublime little flick inside to Mbappé, who does well to control, of course, and rifle it into the roof of the net. Good stuff from PSG, though the defending was, and you might not believe me in saying this, I know, poor from Barcelona. It was poor defending, I know. Shocking. Also, a shout out to Mozaken, who, in playing down the right with Icardi up top, didn't look too bad at all. He scored on the weekend, and he got one against Barca as well. And if not for the penalty, PSG would have had a clean sheet. A decent defensive performance. And a decent performance in the attack, obviously. Missing Neymar and Di Maria, not bad. Going forward, Barcelona's play struggled. There was one counter that comes to mind, where Griezmann was bursting forward as Barca transitioned well into the attack, and had what could have been a 2-on-1 situation. And in this moment here, I was really expecting him to play Dembele through to burn past Florenzi, but he took it himself and dribbled a shot wide of the post. I mean, credit to Florenzi for his positioning, as it certainly discouraged the pass from Griezmann, but for me, it's Dembele. The man is rapid. Back him in a foot race and just play it into space. Easy for me to say. So yeah, 4-1 the final there. Not a surprise anymore that Barcelona is flopping in Europe, unfortunately for their fans at least. And another remontada doesn't seem likely after leaking 4 at home. Oof. Oh yeah, and I know people will mention it, so before I forget, the Mozaken handball. For me, it's one of those ones where if it's given, it's harsh, but I can understand it. But with it not being given, I'm fine with it. Then again, the handball rule in the VAR era has us all questioning if we even know the handball rule anymore. So yeah, you could argue it's a handball as his arm is sort of away from his body and it obstructs the ball. But I think that giving it would be pretty harsh considering it's a pass backward away from the goal on the edge of the box, which of course has no bearing on whether it's a penalty or not in the rule book and in the robot age especially. But that's just how I feel about it. If it's given, not surprising anyone. But if it's not, I'm okay with it. Unless it's against Benfica, then I rage. But I'm just mad because we literally haven't had a single penalty in the league. Not one. Not a single one. So I'm bitter about penalties. RB Leipzig versus Liverpool, in which Leipzig were considered to be the home team during this first leg that was played at Puskás Arena in Budapest. Overall, this was a pretty even game, man. I found that once again, as per the custom on a lot of Champions League nights, Angelino was RB Leipzig's most dangerous attacker at times. No doubt that would have been one of the things that Nagelsmann wanted to focus on. Try to get Angelino in behind Trent Alexander-Arnold. Force that midfielder turned fullback into defending, as he hasn't had his best season defensively and has proven to be a bit of a weak point at times in their backline. But to be fair to TAA, he was decent in this game. But still, Leipzig's first opportunity came just 4.5 minutes in when Angelino got to the end line and cut it back to Dani Olmo, and his diving header touched off of the post. So close. the inside of the post, bounce across the goal. And speaking of Alexander-Arnold, he actually sprung a few attacks for Liverpool, including what was definitely their top chance of the first half when Salah was denied by an onrushing Gulashi. And speaking of onrushing keepers, a guy who's not been in the best form lately, Alisson Becker, saved what would have been the opener from Nkunku after the break, but in the end, Leipzig shot themselves in the foot by gifting not one, but 2 goals to Liverpool. Sabitzer, my boy, with a huge mistake in trying to roll it back to Klosterman, but playing it perfectly into the path of Mo Salah. That through ball rivaled Alexander-Arnold's to the Egyptian in the first half. And the finish from Salah, superb. Fantastic stuff. I mean, to be fair to Sabitzer, his pass wasn't great, but Klosterman had a bit of an unfortunate slip, as you can see here, which just ensured Salah was always going to beat him in that foot race. Unfortunate, but when lightning strikes twice, I mean, the team making the mistakes has to take accountability. And Mukiele, I don't know what he was thinking on this one. 5 minutes after conceding, a completely innocuous clearance from Liverpool, innocuous clearance slash poor through ball from Liverpool, left Mukiele thinking that his only option was to attempt a sliding sort of volleyed clearance. I mean, in his head, I can kind of understand what was probably going through his head. It probably was, don't let this bounce because Mane will fry you with his pace. Unfortunate for him that if he had let it bounce, he probably would have had a better chance at catching Mane. Mukiele isn't exactly slow. The guy's got pace himself. Anyways, enough of hindsight merchant Paco here. Easy for you to say, but it was unfortunate for Mukiele. And overall, unfortunate for Leipzig to concede 2 goals in that fashion, especially when they had those great chances from Olmo, Nkunku, and later Hwang Hee-chan. You don't win matches on chances though, do ya? 2-0 Liverpool, massive result, getting 2 away goals. But I wouldn't sleep on Leipzig just yet. If they find they're finishing early in the next match, again, played at a neutral venue, it'll be interesting. Porto, they did the damn thing against Juventus, man. Like Leipzig, Juve gave Porto an absolute gift just 1 minute into the match. I highlighted Mehdi Taremi being a problem for Juve in my preview, but not like this. I thought it would be something to exhibit his quality more, not taking advantage of Bentancur and Szczesny sleepwalking on the pitch. But hey, good predatory instincts from Taremi, and a good job of just blocking the clearance from Szczesny so that it went directly into the goal. But I mean, gift aside, Porto, I think, were the stronger team in this one and generated the better scoring opportunities. This has been a big issue for Juventus. They don't really create that many good scoring opportunities, or at least they don't generate enough, in my opinion. And Porto are good enough defensively that they're happy to just wait them out and capitalize on their mistakes. And you know what's inexcusable? Conceding in the first minute of each half. You can't start the match sleeping and then start the second half sleeping as well. Straight off the kickoff, a hoofed ball forward from Porto led to some great passing down that right flank, and Musa Marego, as he's known as by some Porto supporters, just rolled it past Szczesny. Solid build-up. Juve again failing to deal with clearing properly, this time not being first to the second ball, and Porto punished them once again. Though this time, it was much more impressive than the first. They actually had to have some passing movements in there in order to get the goal. By the way, this match had some sauce. We had Rabiot with an inventive acrobatic finish in the first half that Marquezine had to stop, and in the second half, Jesus Corona scooped the ball up and hit an overhead kick that forced a decent save out of Szczesny. It would have been a perfect night for Porto had Juve not scored in the 82nd minute. Adrien Rabiot, one of the few bright spots for Juve on the night, and his low ball across the box was finished off by Chiesa. A funny strike from him. He just guided it enough so that as he struck it into the ground, we're talking the Ozil chop style, it looped perfectly into the corner. And it could have got better for Juve because in stoppage time, I thought that Juve should have had a penalty, as that was an extremely clumsy challenge from Zaidu. I mean, he got none of the ball, and how much contact do you need on Ronaldo in order for it to be a penalty? Ronaldo was about to go around him, but literally couldn't because of the player barging through his legs. For me, that's a penalty every single time. I'm sorry, but especially with VAR, what's the call there? What's the justification for it not being a penalty? And come on, Porto fans, don't say some BS excuse of, typical Benfiquista saying it should be a No, take the blue lenses away from your eyes and be honest. Is that a penalty? Whether Ronaldo went down easy or not. There's enough contact that even if he hadn't sold it, he wouldn't have been able to get around Zaidu because he was standing literally in front of his legs without even touching the ball. Fire away in the chat though. Let me know. But it's shaping up to be a great second leg, pretty evenly matched teams, and away goal to contend with. But if Juve are poor at the back, as they were in this one, then Porto could cancel that away goal out real quick. Porto just looked way more cohesive, better organized, like they knew what they were doing. Juve, on the other hand, they look like a team that is just a bunch of individuals out there, relying on individual brilliance. 2-1 Porto. Well, I was on the Twitter today, and Mr. Jimmy Conrad brought up a great stat. Sevilla have made it past the round of 16 in the Champions League / European Cup on one occasion in the past 60 years. You pair that up against their Europa League record, and man, is that hard to believe. But after their performance against Dortmund, I mean, it makes it a little easier to believe. Oh, and bonus points for anyone who remember who Sevilla advanced that one time against. Lock in your answers. 3, 2, 1. Yes, it was Mourinho's United. So anyways, coming into this match, let's look at the domestic form of these two sides. Dortmund, struggling in Germany, 1 win in their last 6 Bundesliga matches, leaking goals all over the place. Sevilla, on a 9-match winning streak, hadn't conceded a goal in 7 matches. I mean, the choice is clear as to who the form team was, right? Absolutely. It had to be Sevilla. Hey, maybe under Lopetegui they would finally convert their penchant for success in the Europa League knockout stages to the Champions League knockout stages and be a bit of a dark horse in this competition. Their defensive record points to that, and nope, Dortmund drop a 3-bomb on them. My god. Things started well enough for Sevilla as Suso scored just 7 minutes in, a bit fortunate as the ball looped over hits thanks to a little touch off of Hummels, and it felt like it could potentially be a long night for Dortmund at that point, but it didn't take long for Dortmund to respond really, and the goals were stunning. We had Haaland rolling the ball back to Mahmoud Dahoud, and the German lashed it, curling it beautifully around Bono and into the far reaches of the goal. The second was courtesy of a strong driving run forward from Haaland, and the give and go between him and Sancho was dreamy stuff. Chef kiss moment, perfectly weighted chip pass from Sancho, and a clean finish as ever from Haaland. As if you needed more proof that Haaland is so much more than just a one-dimensional finisher. He can generate on his own, he can start an attack and finish it. And the third from Dortmund, a mistake that Royce and Haaland latched onto, with the German driving forward before dishing wide to Haaland, whose finishing was as clean as ever, curling it, rolling it around Bono. Complete collapse from Sevilla in that first half, and while they improved a lot in the second, and even got another goal, conceding 3 at home to Dortmund, a side that has been struggling, I mean, we have to give a lot of credit to Dortmund as their counter-attacking football was superb, but man, this is not the Sevilla we come to know over the last month. And they have it against them. That goal from the set piece will be a glimmer of hope in the second leg, as that's where Dortmund truly struggled to defend. And who knows, maybe they'll find their legs again, or maybe this is a turning point for Dortmund. We'll see. 3-2 Dortmund, precious away goals acquired. Now they have to get it done at home. And that's all, guys. Thanks for joining me once again. A huge shout out to those who joined me for the watch alongs, joined the channel to become members, and everything of that sort. I love you guys. My name is Paco. This is Rabona TV, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Ciao.